Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and today we're going to talk about what to expect at your Dominaria United pre-release the next coming weekend. So, sit down, buckle up, grab a cup of coffee, and let's have a look, shall we? Don't forget to subscribe because it helps the channel, helps me, and I really do appreciate it. So, let's see what we're going to be working with. So, here is your Dominaria United pre-release kit that you guys will receive. Very nice looking box. You can see the coalition flag and the whole 9 yards, and everybody, getting ready to lynch somebody apparently. But anyway, so as you move forward, next you'll also notice that inside the box there'll be 6 packs for your sealed pleasure. There'll be a spin down D20, so we're moving away from the rollable D20 because obviously this is not D&D anymore. Nobody liked the rolling D20 for some reason. I thought it was kind of cool, but whatever. You also get some inserts, information, and tips. You'll 6 boosters. You open them up, you'll have a stack of cards. You also will receive, along with your 6 boosters, one stamped pre-release card inside that you can play with. So make sure you don't lose it. Pull it out and use it. That's what she said. Anyway, so pretty much the basics of any pre-release if you've ever been to one. If you haven't, always remember you get 6 packs to make your deck. It's a minimum 40 cards. You should be looking around 17 land. The rest play spells of some way, shape, or form. And I'm guessing it's probably somewhere around 15 creatures. The rest spells of removal or what have you. Um, and don't forget a good balance of land. Be careful not to have too many colors, but with it being sealed, you could probably easily get to 3, maybe more to be honest with you, since this is a very heavy multicolor deck, archetype style. But there are some main themes that are going to stay relevant throughout the draft and limited formats. So let's take a look at what those are real quick. We'll run through them. So here they are. So these here are the draft archetypes you can draft to. But also to keep in mind that these are also some of the same archetypes you can use in sealed. So in draft you have blue white flyers tempo. So with this you can hold your ground with tokens, it says, with defensive instants and sorceries while attacking in the air. So this basically means there's a lot of flyers. Most of them mainly going to be tokens, and and when it says tempo, it means not killing, but maybe putting cards back in people's hands, into their libraries, on top of their libraries, under their libraries, or whatever the case may be, tapping them down, so be it. Also in draft and limited, we have blue-black control, long-term advantage with card draw, creature removal spells, then go after your opponent directly in the late game. So this is your basic control strategy, where black normally has the best creatures, blue helps you draw cards, black has the best removal spells normally. So there's that. We have red-black reckless aggro. Pretty much just red deck win styles with some black in it for removal spells. Red has removal spells too, but black has universal removal, where creature power, toughness, or what have you does not matter. Or you can simply trade your creatures for theirs, which also works, which also leads to a style of what we call Stompy or Domain Stompy in this particular thing. Red green, you attack with the largest creatures on the battlefield, boosted by your Domain mechanic. Red green's always had some of the biggest, bestest creatures. Pretty much big monster style deck. But just make sure you don't have too many big monsters that cost too much, and you should be okay. Green white goes off of a domain token strategy, um, where you have lots of tokens, and you can dominate the mid game with domain mechanics. Basically, once you have all your tokens out, you can domain boost them up with different powers or pluses to kind of overrun your opponent, we'll say. So keep that in mind. So also for we have the black-white creature sacrifice, which is, we're used to seeing that in Rakdos, but this is more of a, I guess, an Aristocrat style if you guys who've played for a little while. So you can sacrifice all your small creatures and or tokens for profit, and then bring creatures back from the graveyard to overwhelm your opponent. Um, Basically, you have small creatures that you can sacrifice, and then big creatures and or spell effects that let you get back to bigger creatures that are the real threat. And the way to kind of balance that out is you've got to lay your big creature, let your opponent kill it, just don't let them exile it so it goes to your graveyard, and then just keep pulling it out of your graveyard until they can't deal with it anymore. So the other draft archetype we have is blue-red aggro spell. Basically, you cast your instants and sorceries to bolster your aggressive creatures and clear a path for victory. This is very remnant of Boros aggro, except it's plain blue, giving you things that fly, but also a lot of instants and sorceries to bolster creatures that have kind of a prowess style effect. Next, we have Domain Midrange, which is black-green, also known as The Rock for you older players. So you get the max value out of these cards because you have the green for the huge creatures. The black helps you bring them back from the graveyard. Those creatures also have domain mechanics because you have the green carryover from Domain Stompy. Plus, black has good removal spells you can tie into this, making this probably an all-around pretty good draft deck. Then we have Tokens Aggro, which this one is in Boros style, which is red-white. Again, you go wide with a whole bunch of small creatures and tokens. Punch through the opponent's defenses and spell effects that boost the whole team. So this is very similar to domain tokens, except you don't use domain style effects. You use normal pump effects and tokens, which are throughout the deck. So I mean, it's okay. I'm not sure token aggro is going to be the thing to go, but hey, you do you, whatever you want to play. So then we have kicker ramp. So this is very interesting. We haven't had ramp kicker in a deck style for a while. We got blue green here. Basically, when you ramp, you building up your mana. So you can get those bigger spells, and then you splash in some other colors to take advantage of powerful multicolor cards and the domain mechanic. So this is going to be the colors that if you want to play a 3, 4, or 5 color deck with like a Joda or something, to do that, you're going to have green for the ramp effect. Now I know in green, now the hard thing about that, green is going to be splashed in other decks like Domain Stompy, Domain Tokens, and Domain Midrange are really going to want to steal a lot of these ramp effects from you in a draft format. So you're going to have to probably maybe prioritize some of the better draft ones, and it's going to really have to depend on what you get, on how well you can do this. So just keep that in mind. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different draft archetypes. Now, the cool thing about this, I've noticed their draft style basically has really been going to an area where every color type has a thing. In the past, they would talk about mechanics and what have you, and there might be 3, 4, 5 type of archetypes, and that's mainly because, maybe that certain set focused on enemy colors, friendly colors, whatever the case may be. So it was only 5. So here in Dominaria, you get to focus on all 10 colors. So this is going to be a very unique draft archetype just because there's so many different ways to draft. If you're drafting domain mid-range, you may be fighting for cards out of reckless aggro player, also out of a domain stompy player or domain tokens player. There's 5. There's one to see here. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 green style decks that all want things that can help you fetch mana to use domain abilities. And one of them's not even a domain deck, it's a kicker ramp deck. And then when you go to reg, you have spells aggro, token aggro, reckless aggro, domain stompy. All those are going to want spells that do damage or support in some way, shape, or form. With reckless aggro, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 black decks in this archetype. That means you're going to be fighting over black removal spells as well for several different archetypes. And then with Flyer's Tempo, you're going to lose some of those temple cards to the control because it might not be enough. And same with Kicker Ramp because some of the blue cards are good removal along with spells aggro. So this is going to be a very unique and fun draft format as we really try to see what cards shine, what cards don't, and where we go from here. So I'm really excited about this draft format. I'm also really excited about this limited format because limited is going to be even better, especially because you don't have to fight anybody for cards, and you can make a 3 or 4 color deck, especially if you've got enough good green to go get those cards out and just really hit home those domain mechanics. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I hope to see you guys there, and I hope this gives you a decent idea of the different archetypes and styles you should be playing come this pre-release weekend, and as we start drafting like crazy, because man, is this going to be a fun set. So, with all that said, don't forget to take a look at that stuff. Also, remember, pre-release comes your way. For all the new sets, it will be next weekend, the weekend of September 2nd through the 8th, which I know sounds weird. I say that because pre-release weekend, it starts September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then it goes until the next week until it's actually released, and then that following weekend is not technically pre-release weekend, but it will be release weekend, which will be also cool. So, Don't forget about that. And as always, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comments down below is going to feed that YouTube algorithm. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please sub up. It's a little click for you, it means a lot for me. I appreciate everybody who's gave me the chance to entertain them and subscribe to my channel. If you already done that, you keep coming back and you want to keep helping out, links in the description to the eBay store, Patreon, and email. Hit me up if you have any questions. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. And until next time, be kind.